So, as you all know, the Cracker Barrel backlash exposed the cracks inside its leadership. So, Cracker Barrel's CEO, Julie Felss Masino, told the investors, as reported before, she changed the logo to make it more visible on highway billboards. Yes, Cracker Barrel executives framed it like a design tweak, not an ideological move. But everyone knows that kind of excuse only comes out when a company's already in trouble. You see, people weren't angry about, a new font. They were actually angry that Cracker Barrel keeps trying to rewrite its own identity while pretending that nothing's wrong. Okay, so this is coming in from the New York Post and stuff. And the CEO made those comments at the 13D Monitor Active Passive Investor Summit in New York yesterday. She said part of this transformation is setting up success for the long term. That phrase, transformation for the long term, might sound harmless, but it's exactly what frustrates loyal customers of Cracker Barrel. You see, every time a legacy brand like Cracker Barrel says transformation, it really means detaching from the old values that made it popular in the first place. You see, Cracker Barrel is a cultural institution, or was a cultural institution built on consistency. Every corporate, quote, update actually chips away at that. Now, for many people, the Uncle Herschel logo represented a certain comfort and Americana that made Cracker Barrel authentic, alongside with the fact that they actually made their food from scratch, which it was revealed they no longer did that anymore. Now, when leadership decided to go ahead and replace it, it was like tearing a piece of history off the wall. They said it was about, readability on highways, but nobody bought that. It looked like another corporate move to go ahead and sanitize the brand. Cracker Barrel's customers, the ones who actually show up and spend their money, don't want any kind of modernized change, even in chain that looks like, every other restaurant. Even the younger generation that they were trying to aim for didn't want that. They want the place that actually make it like home, okay? Now, after the backlash exploded online and everywhere, the company folded fast. The reversal looked like, the company went into panic mode. Cracker Barrel actually stopped the rollout once they realized that the backlash was real. Long-term customers walking away, and that, kind of embarrassment is not something you fix with a press statement, okay? It actually sticks. And now the CEO has to face investors who don't just question the design choice, they also question her judgment, okay? And it needs to be questioned. Now, the shareholder vote is coming up, as I've said, and everyone knows the CEO is in the hot seat. Sardar Biglari has been targeting her for her removal for months. He's been warning investors that this kind of leadership is destroying value, and now he's got proof in front of everyone. Now, their bad decisions made his case for him. The very conference where Masino defended her decisions, her bad decisions, was the same event where investors whispered about her future. Okay, now Biglari was also fighting with the board for more than a decade. Since 2011, he's been calling out, the bad management for losing touch with their audience. You see, he's the founder of Biglari Capital Corp, which owns 2.9% of their common stock. He's also the CEO of Biglari Holdings, which runs chains like Steak and Shake and Western Sizzling. He knows how to manage restaurants with deep cultural roots. He's been arguing for years that the people running the chain no longer understand their customers. And guess what? He's definitely right. Now, Biglari's frustration goes way beyond the logo. He's tried 7 times through proxy contests to reform the board. He's demanded stronger leadership, tighter financial control, and a renewed focus on their heritage. You see, when a shareholder puts that much effort into trying to save a brand, It actually says something about how disconnected the leadership must be. Okay, it's a warning also. The company's problems are definitely self-inflicted, and every wrong turn from corporate headquarters just makes his point even stronger. Now, just last month, Biglari urged shareholders to vote against the directors of Cracker Barrel. His reasoning wasn't vague either. You see, he accused Cracker Barrel of, severe destruction of shareholder value, of failing to understand the brand, its customers, and even its heritage. Okay, and in failing in the Cracker Barrel on board's most important job, selecting the right CEO. Now, when an investor puts words like that into a proxy filing, it's a declaration that the leadership's credibility is already gone. Okay, so Biglari's capital filing went even deeper. You see, it said the board and management for Cracker Barrel betrayed the company's heritage, alienated all the loyal customers, and even undermined investor confidence. That's as clear as it gets. Those are reflections of what the public's been saying. Okay, now Cracker Barrel is not collapsing because people change. It's actually collapsing because the leadership just keeps ignoring who their customers actually are. Now, the backlash over the logo was just one example of that betrayal that's becoming visible. All right. So the company's internal identity crisis is also bigger than, any marketing campaign as well. Now, the company itself doesn't know whether it wants to be a heritage brand or a lifestyle brand. And that confusion just shows in every decision. Now, for years, the leadership just simply kept chasing new audiences that never showed up. They alienated loyal families and travelers who used to stop at every exit. Now, the irony is that their strength was always its predictability. The one place you knew would be the same anywhere you went. That's not something you fix with, woke consultants. Now, with the shareholder vote approaching quickly, this debate is about who controls the company's soul. Biglari has been saying, the leadership doesn't even deserve another chance. And he's right. When the same executives who actually wrecked public trust started talking about, transformation, they don't get it. They keep blaming perception instead of accepting their strategy broke the brand. And this leadership can't keep pretending the problem is communication when it's really the direction as well as the bad decisions they made. Now, every time the current CEO talks about long-term vision, investors should ask one question: whose vision? Because it's not the customer's vision. The customers already spoke when they boycotted, left, and forced that logo reversal. You see, they showed what they value, yet the people running the show treat that reaction as a minor setback instead of a sign. That's the mentality that drives heritage brands into the ground. Now, this company doesn't need another PowerPoint about brand evolution. It just needs someone who remembers why people loved it in the first place, and that takes firing the CEO. Now, what's happening now with Cracker Barrel sounds like, the end of a cycle. A brand that once symbolized tradition is being pulled apart by executives chasing modern relevance. Meanwhile, the investor in Cracker Barrel, who's actually been sounding the alarm for over 10 years, is closer than ever to being proven right. Now, Biglari warned that if the board didn't act, the company would just keep bleeding loyalty, revenue, and credibility. That particular prediction aged perfectly. Now, every bad choice makes his argument even stronger, okay? But the most dangerous thing, for any company is leadership that stops listening. Cracker Barrel's board dismissed all the warnings, ignored all the public sentiment, and then blamed the media for even covering Cracker Barrel fallout. Okay, you see, they're insulted from the customers they claim to serve. That's why this shareholder vote is a referendum on who deserves to define the company's future: the investors who want accountability, or the executives who just keep running from it. Okay, so honestly, I mean, Cracker Barrel's logo reversal didn't fix anything. It won't fix anything. But the mindset changes will fix everything. The same people who made the decision are still calling it a long-term brand move, which tells you they haven't learned a thing. Okay, Biglari is just the mirror who is showing them what happens when arrogance replaces humility in leadership, as well as the fact that if you go woke, you go broke. The company's success was built on everyday Americans who just wanted a place that was real. If the board can't understand that, well, then maybe it's time that they actually finally lose their seats. Okay. So yeah, Cracker Barrel, they might be able to recover only if it stops treating its customers like a PR problem and get rid of the leadership and CEO and the board members, and the loses loyalty in 1,000 small betrayals. Each modernization chips away at what people loved. If Masino and her team don't see that, the shareholders will. Now, this next vote could decide whether Cracker Barrel rebuilds its identity or keeps sliding into irrelevance. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Be sure to smash the like button, share the video far wide across social media, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for future uploads, notifications, and I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace.